Erin, Hannah, today we've decided to talk about how women can save for retirement, and I think we can all agree on that the first step is to establish what your goals and objectives are for retirement and establishing what retirement might look like even if you are young. And the next step would be to know how to get to that point, what you need to save every month and what you need to do to make your goals and objectives a reality one day. So Hannah, as a young professional, what have you done to kickstart your retirement savings?
So I think the key here is to just start off small. So just commit to a smallish debit order, something that's affordable and not going to hurt your cash flow too badly. There's this conception that you need to start saving this massive amount. You don't. I think having the discipline to start off small and start your retirement savings is enough. And I think the important thing is also, as you start to earn more, obviously moving out of a young professional and establishing your career, that you continue to channel your increased earnings towards your retirement savings and don't just keep it at level. So starting small is key, but then obviously channeling more and more of your income towards that. So that's how I've tackled it. Erin, you had a slightly different experience having financial dependence and having gone through a divorce. What was your experience like?
You know, you kind of have a budget and a plan together, and unfortunately it doesn't always go that way. So what I really had to do was understand what life was going to look like post-divorce, what my new expenses were going to be. I wasn't afraid to bring my children on board as well and just explain to them that life was going to look different and we were going to have to make different decisions. Obviously, you are also starting off with a different asset base. So in my case, I had to completely rethink my retirement plan. I had to put some of my retirement plan contributions on hold, which did have an effect on my retirement plan. But you know, you kind of pick up the pieces and you do what you can. So I came up with different ways of saving money, of opening my budget up. I decided to reprioritize settling debts and just getting myself back to a base that I could work from again, which was actually quite empowering for me and for the children. It was a great learning curve for them as well. So I think what's important is whether you are in a position where you're having to give up some of your retirement funds or you are perhaps receiving retirement funds from your spouse, try and have the discipline not to access those and just take it one step at a time and not panic.
My mom had gone through a similar experience to you, where she had to put her retirement contributions on hold due to other financial responsibilities at the time. And I think what you've said now is important. You have to get back on track, establish a new plan, and have the discipline to continue your journey and make sure that you're still able to achieve your goals. Balancing between obviously now achieving those goals and looking after your children, that's quite a balance, Erin. How have you managed that?
Good question. No, it's not easy. You've just got to understand what your new priorities are, and don't be afraid to also prioritize yourself. You know, you can quite easily forget that you still need to look after yourself first, and that includes your future self. So as you said, sometimes it's about starting off small again. Don't be afraid to just, if you've got to decrease those contributions, go back to a smaller amount and then just gain confidence as you move along.
And I think another scenario we see is where moms leave employment because they need to raise their children, and one of these options when you leave employment is to actually withdraw, as you mentioned, and with that comes a tax implication. And it might not be the wrong decision at the time because you need the funds, but the important thing is to make an informed decision. And to make this informed decision, I think you need to speak to someone, just understand what the long-term effect is of this withdrawal, how it affects your other savings, and what other options you might have instead of withdrawing. Because it might be your biggest lump of investments and you might need it, but you might have other options that you can rather dig into that might be more tax efficient. So just understanding what that effect is and having that conversation and just being comfortable with your decision and not having regrets later. I think that's important. And something we haven't touched on is, what do you do when you're a stay-at-home mom? How do you save for retirement? How do you look at financial independence? And I think that's a great topic for another discussion.